Hello there! Welcome back to some more Vagrus adventures in this horrible but beautiful wasteland. Continuing right from the end of the previous one. I think I'm in a little bit of a bind over here. You see, currently I'm gonna need 2 more spectral residue. But I don't know how to find or fight ghosts at all, and I don't think it would pay me to just start roaming the world. Well, as much as the world as I'm able to roam right now, because the way south is still closed off. The way east is still closed off. There's gonna be some way I can go. I just wish I knew. Well, now that I look at the map, we have the lands of shadow and the mountains of skittering darkness. Both of these sound sufficiently spooky that maybe they are very much infested by undead. The problem is that they are so goddamn far away, and I don't think I have the resources for any extended journeys. But there is one thing I can do. Last time, when I was hunting the slime grass, and eventually decided to fail this part, and then I actually found some here in Deven, so maybe the black market has what I need. Let's take a look around. I haven't really explored Deven anyway, so let's do that, I think. Surprisingly hushed for a commercial hub, the Shadow Bazaar comprises a vast maze of echoing halls and intestine-like tunnels, that are crammed full of stalls, street peddlers, and shops of all kinds. It is said that the place has the uncanny ability to provide what you are truly looking for. Then again, it could just be an elaborate sales pitch. Or maybe the fact that it has literally anything, so sooner or later you are gonna find whatever it is you're looking for. Okay, and I think there was actually a rumor. Okay, word on the street is that one can find a nice jewelry shop in the Shadow Bazaar of Deven, whose proprietor is selling rarities and curios as well. Okay, so now I can archive it, since I know about it. Let's find it. At the end of the bazaar's many side tunnels, barely visible behind a collection of shadowy stalls and decorated curtains, is the shop called the Perilous Parlor. As you enter, the store's proprietor, a lean Tarkian man with a long goatee and a quick smile, greets you with kindness that borders sleaziness. Apparently, he will do your bidding, though you figure it will cost you dearly. The shop itself is a wondrous sight to behold. The cave interior is packed with stone shelves upon which a large selection of jewelry is displayed, safe behind thick sheets of glass. A pair of stone golems stand among the shelves as further deterrence. Inert for now, but you have no doubt they could crush thieves in the blink of an eye. Interesting security system. Okay, maybe chat with him a little. Find out if he has something special. The proprietor introduces himself as Farouk of Barkar, jeweler and honest merchant. Yeah, that's what they all say. He seems very eager to do business with you, and has an altogether kind if somewhat sleazy attitude. You chat about jewels and precious metal prices, Tarkian affairs and matters of religion, then about your travels. Farouk looks quite impressed with your experience and offers a great price for any rarities you might bring to him in the future. I'm sure he does. Okay, what do you have? The parlor sells a wide range of precious stones, exquisite jewelry, and even magical talismans. Okay, rare jewel. Rare jewel. Amulet of protection. It's a combat item. Amulet of concentration. It's also a combat item. Bronze owl pendant. Gives 5 accuracy and +1 marksman. It's pretty cheap. Not a bad deal, all things considered. Well, it does have a bit of a markup, looks like. And finally, there's a murky eye brooch. +3 to all resistances. That's kind of insignificant. This pendant is intriguing, but at the moment I would rather not spend money at all. Okay, do I sell you jewelry, or are you looking for something else? The parlor is willing to take jewelry and precious stones off your hands, as well as similar items of magical nature, even dragon stones apparently. The proprietor is something of a collector. Okay, so you're buy tribal trinkets, all kinds of jewels, okay. Simple jewelries too. You even buy them in bulk, interesting. And you buy back the same things that you're actually selling, plus a few others. Interesting. Well, that's alright then. Let's gather some news real quick. News and rumors change hands just as fast as goods and wares do here. That said, you will have to open your purse if you hope to hear anything new, and even then, it's not guaranteed. Okay, 4 changers. Available every 3 days. And we didn't get anything, but that's alright. Okay, sell your trophies at the bazaar. What kind of trophies are we talking about? Oh, these kinds of trophies. Okay, well, I'm not hunting monsters, so I don't have any. Let's enter the Hall of Trade. The Hall of Trade used to house the offices of commerce, as well as various trade delegations and guild representatives. However, with the unionization and the aggressive push of the Carpenters Guild, it has degenerated into the headquarters of the Underworld Syndicate. It still has an air of authority, and many merchants in the city deal with them regularly, but corruption eats at its marble halls. As it usually does. You make your way to the gates, where a clerk watched over by a couple of bouncers stop you. Entry only on official business, the clerk says with as much authority as she can muster. Alright, so this is the Carpenters Guild base. I don't know what kind of official business we might be having here. Let's take a look. You are ushered in and led through well-swept hallways and atriums lit by crystal lamps until you reach the offices of the guild's couples. Only a few of them are here, but those are the more motivated ones at least. Okay, so we can pay them quite a hefty amount to lower our criminality in imperial cities, okay. Well, I'm not really a criminal, so it's okay. Okay, that was the bazaar. Let's look at the Hintercaves now. Below and beyond the busy, great central caves of Deven lie holes, corridors and chasms, both natural and artificial, stretching to uncanny depths and distances, populated mostly by the native race, newcomer dark elves. Hey, that's me. And the city's poor. The area is referred to as the Hintercaves and is considered a dangerous and deadly place, wrapped in harsh darkness. Alright, let's go. Look at the slums first. Most of the Hintercaves is taken up by the squalid neighborhood of the city's many wraiths, with decrepit dwellings and unlit corridors connecting caverns reeking of decaying corpses. The little creeps are said to eat anything but have a taste for the dead. Still, one can probably find something interesting over at the many black markets spread around this place like pockmarks. Well, you know, if they're eating the dead, at least that solves a bit of the sanitation problems. Though I don't suppose the Ashkulites would really like that practice. Well, let's see what the black market has. The reason to come here is to find illicit goods here that are not easy to obtain at other markets. True to its reputation, this district is a hotbed of such illegal trading. One only has to look around, ask the right people, and look like they have the coins to spare. Okay, you're selling bogweed, obsidian blades, dragon bone. Oh, what's this? Equip your comitatus with hidden compartments for smuggling. Interesting. And it goes on cargo. It's not that I want to turn into a smuggler. But this would help me in some sensitive places. Yeah, let's get one of these. The shifty-eyed wraith peddler pockets your coins, and you get what you paid for. You do not take that for granted. Alright. We can buy one dragon egg every 900 days. Jeez, that's a long cooldown time. Well, it is a dragon egg, so must be incredibly expensive. Bone statue. Piece of bone carved into twisting serpentine shapes. Almost painful to look at. The artist must have been a madman. Okay, doesn't sound like much. But maybe I can bring it to our good friend, the Eternal Sculptor. Maybe he would get inspired. Purchase a stone tablet with ancient text on it. I don't know what that's for. I do have poison. And I do have trap kits. What's this? Purchase corpses. Wraiths elsewhere might need that nasty cargo. No thank you. Well, no luck with the residue here. We can probe them for news. It's a little bit costly, but maybe we get something out of it. Wraiths are everywhere. Everyone in the Empire knows this. Not only that, but most do not care to acknowledge their presence, so they overhear a lot of things. You will have to pay for their knowledge, however. Great, so Wraiths are basically a mix of beggars and an ethnic minority. Huh. We got some news from Lumen. News that I could very well get by going there. So this wasn't really a good exchange. Oh well. What about the Dark Elf colony? Tightly packed cave dwellings line dark streets lit by a handful of crystal lamps in this district. Its inhabitants are clearly not wealthy, yet they keep to themselves and have built an almost self-contained colony here. In other places, that is called a ghetto. Okay, we can ask around, which appears to be somehow story-related. Dark elves are a fairly common sight in Deven, but here in the Hintercaves, a whole colony of them cropped up some 10 years ago. Allegedly, they fled some kind of regime in their original home, deep in Everdark, but they are not the kind of folk to explain themselves. Still, there are some services that they expertly provide to city dwellers and travelers alike, as they are keen to point out. The most important of these are slaves. The colony enjoys visits from their kin, who bring fresh stock each time they arrive at Deven. In fact, a large part of the slave market in town is run by Dark Elves. You learn from talking to their traders that the colony is ruled by Prince Lakor. His court is often employing Vagrus and rewards all kinds of services. Perhaps you could look into it. Ah, interesting. We got some business opportunities. It's probably worth a look. Maybe I get extra points for actually being a Dark Elf Vagrus. The court of the prince resides in a large hall fashioned from a natural cavern. Everything here is fashioned from a natural cavern. It's not really an achievement. At the back of the colony's territory, here black granite pillars adorned with serpentine demons hold a shadowy ceiling under which silk-clad and perfumed courtiers speak in hushed tones. Purple and blue crystal lamps provide eerie illumination to the hall, engulfing the honor guard standing vigilantly around the throne of their grim prince in a sort of ghost light. The robed, is it Major Domo or Mayor Domo? I never get that one right. Converses with you briefly. He is the one who can handle your dealings with the court. Okay, looks like we can sell them good quality tools. But I also need that myself. Let's ask if we can be of assistance. It appears that in spite of appearances, the colony is struggling with some aspects of their exodus here. You do not push too hard, but some courtiers hint at a need for certain wares that local merchants want to sell to the Dark Elves, only at a disgustingly high price. Something to do with their enmity, apparently. You could bring them a stack of leather and obsidian from time to time, for much needed crafting, even iron for their darksmiths, and of course, a set of tools will do too, of the better quality. Interesting. So leather and obsidian. And sometimes iron. I'm going to keep this one in mind. Okay, what is the Arena of Echoes? The Arena of Echoes is a large colosseum in one of the vast cavernous halls of the Hintercaves. Run by the Carpenters Guild, puts on fights quite often to a colorful crowd, often visited by city officials and even aristocrats. This is partly because the arena organizes tournaments that adhere to imperial gladiator tradition, and partly because most public servants and people in power have ties to the guild. Okay. Let's just watch a fight for today. The regular fighters of the arena put on single fights for show, and you decide to watch one. It is also possible to place bets on fighters, even though without knowing them well, it will probably come down to luck. Okay, let's bet 1 copper. The fight is not to the death, so the turnout is much less, yet locals enjoy betting on their local brawlers nonetheless. The Pagniari, bearing heavy knuckle dusters called the Cestus, enter the arena and are cheered by a small crowd. You lean back and expect a fairly underwhelming display, but are surprised that in a minute you are sitting at the edge of your seat. Or perhaps it is only because the fighter you put money on struggles throughout the bout and loses only in the end. At least the brawl was an entertaining one. Okay. That's that. Let's do the daily explore now. It is very easy to be turned around in the maze-like tunnel streets and cavern squares of the underground city that is Deven. One such small mistake brings you into a narrow alley, and right before you reach its end, a couple of shadowy figures step out of the shadows and obstruct your way. Their small size renders them unintimidating, until you see the ghoulish, nasty grin on their leader's face. You realize that they are wraiths. The man in front of you tosses back his hood and looks you over with pitch-black eyes, then reaches out holding his palm in front of you, while his other hand goes to his dagger. "Coins?" he says casually. A couple of the furtive little fiends block the alley behind you. Okay, we can say no thank you and attack them, or give them the coins you have on you. That one is pretty vague. You know what, let's do it this one. Maybe, if it happens again, I will know how much they would demand. Okay, 8 changers. That's not even bad. You hand over the pouch you have on you with a frown. The wraith leader weighs it in his palm. That gives you an evil grin, all pointed teeth. "Well, boys," he addresses his minions, "what a kind soul we have here. Perhaps we can look for this loser later and get the rest of the coins." The wraiths have a nice chuckle at your expense, as some of them throw you all manner of insults as they leave, but no real harm comes to you. Well, that's the most important part here. Okay, we got the temple ward. We already know what's here. We got the Ashkulites and the Sergorodites here. Okay, how many medical supplies do I have? I have 7. Okay, that should last me for a while. And I have exactly 1 antidote. Okay. Purchase tools that trained healers can use. Okay, it gives extra healer perk. If I had anyone who was already a healer. Okay. Available every 60 days. Okay, let's just grab one. Maybe have a use of it later. Seek healing for a more serious ailment. I wonder what would count as serious. Maybe like a disease or something. I don't know. Okay, can I? No, I don't think there's anything that would allow me to find undead. Okay, let's check out the gardens now. The Gardens is a large district just next to the city center, occupying the largest cavern of the series of hollow halls that is Deven. Dominated by the magnificent sight of the ziggurat-like hanging gardens, and illuminated by vast clusters of luminescent crystals, this island of light in the moist darkness is home to the city's artisans, entertainers, scholars, and all but the most prominent aristocrats. Okay. Deven also has a freelancers guild, where we can rent someone for What was that, 30 days, I think? There's the Hanging Gardens. There's an inn. And the offices of the legate. Okay, let's go with the gardens. If we have enough herb lore and magic sense. And already knew about the Crystal Mancer. Then we could go observe these, okay. The Hanging Gardens are one of Deven's most prominent places and the famous site of the Empire. Its main ziggurat stands 12 stories tall, and its terraces house various biomes maintained by a veritable army of imperial botanists and herbalists. Other groves and gardens are spread out over a large area around the central building. Undoubtedly, one could spend weeks here without being able to visit every part or go down every path. Apart from looking at odd crystal formations and peculiar subterranean plants, you can also buy things here. Okay, what things can I buy here? There is a strange collection of wares you can purchase from the botanists who run the Hanging Gardens. Special plants they have in surplus, the tools of their trade, and even some enchanted items. They inform you, however, that they do not sell ghost mushrooms, even though they have them all over the gardens. Apparently, these are not for commercial use. Alright. Ah, great. I can buy slime grass here as well. And they also have pure white crystal. Just like the one we went into the archive for. Got some herbalist tools. That gives extra herb lore. I don't have any herbalists yet. But let's just grab this. Okay. Is there anything worthwhile in the inn? Nestled at the end of a quiet street filled with art galleries and craftsmen's shops sits the Copper Pugio, a fine establishment frequented mostly by local socialites and artists, as well as intriguing travelers. As expected, prices are higher and the decorous niche, comprised mostly of imperial mosaics, luminescent crystal lamps and bronze statues. The scent of quality food flows from the kitchen, while soft music from a small band of minstrels soothes the mind. Okay, we can give quality boosts for the crew. Supposedly for morale, which I am doing okay on. What is this? You'll notice a young woman sitting at a table, staring at what looks like a model of the spires. The young woman looks up from the model and notices you. Around the miniature spires carved from bone and soft rock are notes on parchments as well as a few books. Her mug of Tarkian coffee has long gone cold by the looks of it. You ask her about the model in front of her, saying that you are curious, having seen the jet black monuments yourself from up close. Oh, right, yeah. We were there last time when we were helping Vrog. I'm still a little bit salty that he decided not to come with us. Could have used him, I suppose. Ah yes, I'm a journeyman from the Imperial University in the capital, she tells you with a knowing smile. I'm studying to become an architect. Sorry, I thought you were someone else. Anyhow, they do this to us, they send us away for years. We visit edifices and buildings all around the Empire, you see, and coming to the spires is somewhat of a tradition in my faculty. You ask her if she saw anything others have not. Not a chance, she chortles. I mean, these bloody things are documented in minute detail, except when it comes to their origins, of course, or their design. I'm sure you've heard the tales of how the Emperor himself came up with the plans, but come on, is it really possible that he was an architect too, of this magnitude? And even so, how did he or his crews create the material? I mean, nothing remotely similar exists anywhere else. I'm not sure I buy what the historical records are selling. You ask her if Imperial surveyors have managed to dig under the edifice, perhaps. They sure did, she smiles as she lifts a single spire model from the table and observes it as if seeing it for the first time. The spires go down half a mile and are based on solid rock. Nothing else is down there. Well, except for some very old tunnels, possibly dug by the unfortunates who turned into wraiths after the calamity. Some lunatics even suggest that their change is somehow tied to the spires, but I think that's just grasping for straws. You keep discussing the strange monuments, but nothing tangible comes up, and after a while you take your leave. Ha, interesting. We learned a little more about the spires. That kinda makes me think there is going to be a reason for us to go back there. Alright. I think I looked around here in Deven plenty. Let's see where we can go now. Okay, +7 cargo. +15% for the supercargo. So if I remove this, how will that change? Okay, I would lose 1 stack. And if I put the hidden compartments here, does it change anything? No, it gives us +2 stash. Oh, I see. So this stash is 2 slots that are not going to be found when we get searched. Okay. So it is very much paying off. I like it. I guess I don't even need to trade in anything illicit. It's just 2 extra slots. That is somehow independent from cargo space, looks like. I don't think there's anything else here. Okay, I can get more slots. These are animal slots, right? So you can only have 1 cargo slot, it looks like. Fine then. Anything good here? Not really. Okay, any passengers? Mirage and Arcane. Okay. So I could go back down to Arcane. Or maybe... let's see. Ash, Arcane. Oh, there's one for Sunrock. And another for Sunrock. And one more for Sunrock. And yet another. Okay, let's see. If I take this one for the Alliance, that takes up all of these 3 slots. Okay. Now, if these 2 are regular cargo slots, as I am led to believe, then I can take this. Nice. Okay then. Looks like I'm going to Sunrock then. And if I remember right, there was a rumor. People gossip about a strange little shop in Sunrock cut into the rock face of a frequented plaza run by an odd being. Nobody seems to agree on the creature's origin and looks though. They say it sells curious goods and rare treasures. That sounds promising. So let's go check it out. Alright, and we're here. Wow, this place looks pretty. It is said that even a single hero can make a difference. In the case of Sunrock, this certainly seems true. The mythical warrior Lavandius defeated a terrible monster and founded the town all by himself, entering the Hall of Imperial Saints in the process. Locals here worship his image and deeds with amazing fervor, not perturbed at all that Lavandius may never have existed. Well, that's the thing about folk heroes. They don't even need to exist. The dome-shaped rock shell protecting Sunrock keeps the scars of ancient worms as a grim reminder that the wasteland is never truly conquered. Under it, a busy maze of cool caverns and large halls awaits weary travelers. Okay, so is this rock a natural formation? Or was it maybe a nest for something at one point? Maybe the monster that supposedly Lavandius killed? That's something to think about. Okay. The central underground hall of Sunrock is teeming with activity. This is certainly the most densely populated and busy part of the settlement, never really at rest. A multitude of tunnels and caves open from the large cavern here, harboring markets, workshops, taverns, and the like. The colorful mix of people from all around the wider region is constantly swarming the streets. Traders from Deven, crystal harvesters, miners, lowlifes, Karish, Sadirar, and thugs. In the middle of the circular central cave, named Wormslayer Hall, a huge statue stands depicting some kind of local hero. The citizens seem to hold him in high reverence, as most of them bow their head curtly when passing it, and some even bring small offerings. Let's take a closer look at that. The monument is quite an impressive sight, standing about 15 feet tall and made from a combination of marble, clay, and even crystal. It depicts a mighty, stern-looking warrior, holding a fearsome spear, resting his right foot on the scales of some serpentine creature he has vanquished. We actually have a statue of a hero like that in my country? Interesting. The statue's pedestal is surrounded by small obscure gifts and offerings. Coins, dried herbs, figures carved from bone, even small pieces of crystal. Some of these are quite valuable from the look of them. Strangely enough, nobody tries to snatch them, even though Sunrock has its fair share of shady visitors. There is no inscription to indicate who this is supposed to be. Okay. We can leave a little bit of offering every 7 days. I don't see why not. And I also don't see why we would try to rob the place. But it's very clear that nobody ever does that. This could even mean that if we fail, we get kicked out of the town, which I do not want. You place a few coins in the earthenware bowl at the foot of the statue. As you step back, a slight yet definitive sense of warmness overtakes you, like a strange, elated sense of confidence. You feel invigorated and optimistic. You gain Lavandius' blessing. Very interesting. So, this guy is actually an Imperial Saint. That gives powers, Very interesting. We're gonna check it in a minute. Let's ask a local about the monument first. You stop a passerby and inquire whom the monument depicts. You learn that it commemorates the hero Lavendius and the time when the first people came to the system of caves that are now Sandrock. Following the Calamity Sea, our ancestors fled from an underground vault and were badly battered by evil storms and horrid worm creatures, and thought they reached salvation when they arrived at the site of present-day Sandrock. He explains, looking at the statue with reverence. The king of the worms itself dwelt here and dug the holes and tunnels, eating its own spawn as likely as our ancestors. But Lavendius hunted and slew the beast, thus giving our people a fighting chance and a new home. He has been worshipped here ever since. You thank him and he scurries away. Alright then. Let's find that strange merchant then. The shop is located in a frequented part of the central hub, albeit hidden in an alley opening behind a chaotic row of vendors and stands. From the outside, it appears rather unassuming. Its entrance is a narrow slit in the rock wall, with only a small crystal lamp and a modest display rack of various herbs indicating that there is a business inside. Well, usually. You can find something really weird in those places. You descend a narrow set of stairs before entering a cool, musty room that is much larger than one would expect from the outside. It looks like a warehouse rather than a shop, and an abandoned one at that. Earthenware containers covered with moldy linen sheets line the walls in wild disarray, and there is no sign of any traditional display of wares. The few items that lie inside are pure junk. Bits and pieces of disassembled traveling equipment, jars containing ominous substances, and the occasional dull, dirty, and broken crystal. At the back of the cave, various small tunnels lead deeper underground. Okay, is this like a front for something? The only outstanding object is a huge statue of predominantly alabaster color depicting a muscular humanoid. Its features a strange mixture of majesty and dread. Its closed-eyed face is symmetrical and handsome. One could even say noble. But curved horns sprout from its forehead, while its neck, shoulders, and as well as upper arms are covered in bony outgrowths. You lean closer to examine them. The statue opens its deep, pupilless eyes and looks down upon you. Hello? Welcome to my place, it says in a pleasant voice. What brings you here? Hi? You realize that it is not a statue at all, but an ogre, and a curious one at that. How strange to meet one here in a small shop. I apologize if I startled you, he continues in a deep, soft voice, like the rumble of distant thunder. I was deep in thought. Allow me to introduce myself. Khaled is the name, but you can call me Khaled, and you were probably brought here by my store's reputation. There is no denying that. You ask him what kind of wares he has to sell, somewhat skeptically. At that, Khaled smiles knowingly, displaying a row of immaculate teeth like perfect pearls. Oh, this and that, depending on what I can get, he replies. The flow of trade goods is ever-changing here in Sandrock, but that's no trouble. I am quite flexible, which by the way is why you don't see anything on display. My place is officially registered as a mere warehouse, for some of my merchandise is of a rather delicate and uncategorizable nature. It's much easier this way, both for the imperial bureaucracy and for me. I can look around in my stash for something that might interest you, if you are so inclined. Okay, let's take a look then. Please give me a minute, Khaled says politely, and with that, he disappears in one of the tunnels leading away from the central room. You can hear him rummaging, and after a while, he returns with a sack full of various items. That would be my current stash, he explains. Browse at your leisure. Okay, what do you have? The sack contains a variety of curious items. Gods only know where Khaled managed to get them. You begin to sort through them, hoping you might find something useful. Okay. You have moon dust, which is highly illegal. Just randomly got some medical supplies and some old stone tablets. Okay, why does it say that it's very important that I take one of these? Oh well, let's grab the medical supplies then. Oh, let's go back. I wanted to ask him about himself. The huge ogre merchant, Khaled Star, seems to be in his ponderous statue-like stasis, just like the first time you met him. But as soon as you speak to him, he opens his blue eyes and smiles. "Wish to see my wares?" he asks in his deep, soft voice. Oh, how much I wish to have a deep, soft voice. My life would be about 70% better with that. Oh well. Let's ask him about himself. Ah, that again. The merchant smiles, not unkindly. You are certainly not the first one to inquire. What does an ogre do here in Sunrock of all places? Running a business instead of wandering the wastelands, attacking folk on sight, or howling in a cell chained to the cold walls with iron? That was certainly a probable prospect back in the days. Back when I arrived in the realms, I was rounded up by the legions and got thrown into an arena. I'm sure you've already seen the local one. Doesn't matter. My masters expected me to soon fall prey to the taint, which admittedly most of my kind does sooner or later it seems. He pauses and absent-mindedly touches the bony growths on his neck. But not me. Not like that anyway. After seeing how I refused to turn into beasts like arena fodder, thus robbing the public of the bloody spectacle they hoped for, yet how at the same time I displayed rather exceptional skills in numbers and logistics, they put me in charge of the arena's administration, which I handled exceptionally well. After a while, I was even able to buy my freedom, and well, here I am, managing numbers and wares. Now, are you interested in those wares? Looks like I cannot look at stuff just yet. Alright then. Let's turn these ones in. Okay, looking nice. Oh, this place doesn't make much supplies, huh? What do you make then? Okay, looks like you're pretty okay on bone. And hides. And ivory. And you either get a bunch of mushrooms and mushroom beer, or you make it yourselves. I can't tell. Okay, you're not exactly a popular destination then. Nothing unique in here. Okay, now, what tasks can we take? There's one back to Deven. There's another. Well, I guess that is what we're gonna do for now. Okay. There's not much else. Bone and hides and the like. Don't have much of a profit margin, I think. Yeah, it's actually quite minimal, looks like. Oh well, it is what it is, I suppose. Okay. I think I'm gonna go back to Deven. And then, maybe, try to go do a little exploring. The problem is that I don't really know enough places around here. All I know is Kabur here. And it's over a month of travel. And I don't think I can have enough supplies stored even if I go in a straight line. So that's gotta be something for another time. But really, I might need to take a few little excursions in Deven's immediate vicinity. Maybe I can uncover something. Because if I confine myself to this little place right here, then I'm probably not gonna get anywhere. Oh, speaking of getting anywhere, I think once I'm back in Deven, I'm gonna actually look at the ledger for outpost places. That's something I forgot. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you like my bumbling around, then please consider giving the video a like. And as always, I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, safe travels, Vagrus.